Southeastern Conference Commissioner Greg Sankey announced Tuesday that the 2020 SEC spring meetings have been canceled due to issues related to the spread of COVID-19. The SEC will determine alternate methods for holding the meetings important to conference operations and explore opportunities to recognize award winners who are honored at the event, which is held annually during the last week of May in Destin, Florida. I was with Hester yesterday, who usually gets this call to cover this event. This is a great assignment down in Destin for a week where you claim you're working, but you're in flip-flops and swimsuits and tank tops all week. It was a bummer for Hester yesterday when the word came down that this was officially canceled. Greg Sankey jumped on Golick and Wingo yesterday morning talking about the college football season and the start of it. Is it in jeopardy?
Yeah, my focus is on preparing to kick off college football Labor Day weekend in the fall, and we will continue with that focus. And I am optimistic. I think my role, my job is to prepare with that in mind.
It looks like he's moved off of complaining about, what was he complaining about? Why'd we go ahead and cancel the College World Series? Okay, well, yeah, as you can see, we're just trying to make football season happen now at this point.
Speaking of football season, Ed Ogeron was on with us yesterday on Off the Bench. If you missed it, it's online at 1045ESPN.com, brought to you daily by Carriages. Yesterday, we had the cut-ups of Coach K sitting down with Joe Burrow. That was an excellent conversation. A week later, Coach K had Ed Ogeron on. He's the latest guest on Basketball and Beyond over on Sirius XM Radio. Here's a couple of snippets with Coach O, with Coach K, describing his growth as a coach.
I wanted to have my own identity as a football coach, but my identity was a hard-ass defensive line coach. Get after it. Right. And that's how you got to coach those guys. You know, you coach Warren Sapp, you ain't going to be nice to them. It ain't going to happen. And that ain't going to happen. And anyway, so when I went to Ole Miss, Pete Carroll told me, Eddie, be careful. The words, as you well know, Coach, the words of the head coach are very powerful. And I went in there, and I coached the whole team and the coaching staff like a hard defensive line coach. It didn't work. It didn't work. And here's what I promised myself I'd do. I knew I'd get another chance. Two things. I'm going to treat my football players just like I treat my sons. They're going to know I love them first. They're going to know I care about them. But they also going to know there's some parameters. Right. I will treat every assistant coach with the utmost respect that I can. Those two things help me get closer to my football team and get closer to my football staff.
One more from Ogeron. We'll hear more from this sit-down between Coach K and Coach O. Here's Ogeron explaining winning the national championship in New Orleans as a Louisianian.
I couldn't have read a better story. Besides the day I became a father, that was the greatest feeling in the world, going to that Superdome and win a championship. And I was happy for the people of the state of Louisiana. I was happy for the Cajuns. Yeah. I was happy for everybody that bled the purple and gold. It was just a tremendous day for everybody. I was most gratified and happy for our football team. They worked for it.
Excellent sit-down between Coach O and Coach K. You can find it on Sirius XM app right there, Beyond Basketball and Beyond, which is the name of Coach K's show. NFL team owners formally approved a plan Tuesday to expand the postseason to 14 teams beginning this season. There will be a total of 3 wild-card teams per conference, up from 2. The number 2 seed in each conference will host the number 7 seed in the wild-card round. I'm not explaining all this. The NFL owners expanded the postseason to 14 teams yesterday.
So as far as I understand it, the only differences would be that the 2 seeds no longer going to get a bye, right? And so they will now host that lowest seeded wild card team, and then everything else should remain the same. Yeah, right, pretty much. Okay, I think you're.
But yeah, I mean, it does say that everything's the same.
And now I'm still not a fan of it. I like the playoffs being more exclusive than not. Yeah, I think it's. It's going to let in, and you know what? The Giants won Super Bowls this way, so sure, but it's going to let in a lot of 9-7 teams, a lot of 8-8 teams, and it's a trend towards that NBA direction where over half the teams in the NBA make it, which I don't really like.
The NFL plans to start its 2020 season on time in September. Multiple executives said Tuesday, despite a global coronavirus pandemic that has shut down sports around the world, that the NFL will move on as business as usual. Sean Payton was on Get Up yesterday talking about the COVID-19. Man, these are long sound bites. Here is COVID-19
sound like Stu Gatz right now.
A long sound bite.
I'm feeling well. Fortunately, I was one of the, I guess you'd say, majority that had it, and yet didn't have any of the respiratory maybe symptoms that we're seeing so often with this virus. For me, it was just the chills. I had 1 day of a fever. It was that first day that I went ahead and got tested. It took a while to get the results back. I think it was 4 days later. But I would say very shortly after that Thursday when I got the results back, I was asymptomatic and began to feel just tired, but pretty much like I had recovered. And it's been 2 weeks now, so a little bit over 2 weeks. And still, like everyone else, still staying inside and distancing ourselves from our neighbor per se. Quite a difficult period of time. And I say that obviously for so many different regions and so many different people, in our country.
Tom Brady will wear number 12 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and wide receiver Chris Godwin will switch to number 14. That was announced by the team on Tuesday. Godwin told the Buccaneers website that no transaction or compensation was involved, despite a precedent being set previously by new teammates getting numbers already taken. I don't know, man. Opportunity missed. I got to imagine that Brady's taking care of Godwin in some type of way.
He needs. That's what I'm saying. Godwin shouldn't have to ask. Like Brady, and yes, Brady should get the number. I'm not saying that, but just as like an act of goodwill, let's start this relationship on the right foot. Why not have Brady throw him a bone and just hook him up with something, dude? Anything.